At the beginning of the movie, we see a girl named Eris, which was lying on her bed and something was bothering her. The next morning when she wakes up, she takes the car and goes to the forest, and while passing through the forest, she stands on the top of the highest hill. Here we find that Eris had a younger son. He had died suddenly due to some reason, which is why Eris was so worried these days, because she holds herself responsible for his death, and now she wants to leave this world and go to her son. That is, she wanted to commit suicide and die. So she came and stood on the top of the hill. Before she can do anything, a man named Richard arrives. Seeing her condition, he also understood that she was about to take her life. It is then that he tries to talk to Eris to stop him. He said, "Look how lovely the weather is. It's not every day we get to see weather like this. This should give us an idea of the importance of our life, that we only have one life in which we all can enjoy it all." Eris understood and said, "Don't try to stop me. Let me leave this world." Richard asks why you want to kill yourself. "You can tell me because everyone has problems in their life. But this does not mean that we should end our life. We should enjoy our life while fighting hard times." Then Eris tells her that I had a young son whom I loved very much, but due to my carelessness, he lost his life. I cannot get over the shock of his death. Maybe this grief will last me all my life. So it is better that I get rid of my life. Richard says, okay, I explained to you as much as I had to explain. Now the will is yours to do whatever you want." After saying that, he starts to leave. But somehow his words had an effect on Eris. So she changes her mind to commit suicide. And comes back, she keeps talking to Richard for a long time. Both walk to their cars. Richard tells him to never do that again and says goodbye to Eris and gets into his car. Then Eris also starts sitting in her car. Meanwhile, Richard came out again under the pretense of talking. He has an electric umbrella theme in his hand, which he uses to deliver a powerful shock to Eris, due to which she faints there. Richard ties her hands and feet and puts her in his car, and takes it with him. Actually, he was a serial killer. His mental balance was also not right. He used to kill people without any reason. After some time, when Eris regains consciousness, she asks, "Where are you taking me?" She wanted to distract Richard by talking, and at the same time they try to call their husband from their smartwatch. Richard then tells her that there is no point in calling anyone as there will be no signals at all. When Eris checks his pocket, he finds a small knife, with the help of which she tries to cut the rope of her hand. Also, she was distracting Richard by talking to him, and after cutting the rope, she suddenly attacks Richard, due to which the balance of the car is disturbed and it hits a tree. Due to this accident, both of them get minor injuries. After regaining her composure, Eris attacks him again, kicking him hard, causing both of them to fall out of the car. Eris quickly cuts her leg ropes as well. But before she can run away, Richard comes in front of her. He says, "I knew something like this might happen to you, so I was fully prepared. I have given you an injection that will paralyze your entire body. You have only 20 minutes to do whatever you want. You can save your life by running away. Because gradually the effect of this injection will start to paralyze one part of your body, and after exactly 20 minutes when you will not be able to move even one of your fingers, then you will become a living dead body, and your 20-minute time has started." Then Eris throws the knife there and starts running into the forest. Now the more she runs, the injection will affect quickly in his body. She was moving fast. After a while, she realized that his hand and leg were paralyzed, due to which now she was finding it very difficult to walk. But still, she was trying her best to run away from Richard. Then came the time when his other leg also stopped working, and now she was not able to walk at all. So she was moving forward while crawling. Richard was by her side trying to find her. Eris went and hid under a tree, and when she doesn't find him here, he starts going the other way. But Eris gets a lot of bugs in her mouth, which makes her cry. Richard finds out where she is, but before he can reach her, she crawls into the water and began to move forward with the flow of water. Richard calls it, "You are making a huge mistake because you will not be able to swim." Eris was just drifting now, but still coming to a place, she comes to the bank of the river and crawling out of the river with great difficulty. 20 minutes had passed, meaning she was completely paralyzed. Now she was lying in the same place. Only she could move her eyes. After some time, an old man arrives there cutting grass, because he lives nearby. He asks Eris, "What happened to you, son?" But Eris was in no condition to say anything. She was not even able to move herself. She realizes that she can only move her eyes. The old man asks him if you are in trouble. Eris then blinks once, and at what she had to deny, she blinks her eyelids twice. The old man tells him, "Okay, you wait, I will come now." He comes out of his house with a trolley. Now he brought Eris to his house, lying in this trolley. After some time, someone knocks on the door. Then Eris continues to blink her eyelids. Seeing this, the old man understood. When the old man opened the door, Richard was outside. He tells the old man that he has had an accident and needs help. After entering the house, he starts looking around. Then he came and sat in front of the old man and started crying. The old man asks him if he will tell what happened, or will he keep crying like this. Richard says that my son has died, due to which my wife has lost mental balance. We were arguing with each other in the car, which led to the accident. And when I regained consciousness, she was not there, and since then I have been looking for her. I thought she might have come here, so I came here. Hearing this, the old man says, "Why don't you call him?" Richard replies that my phone is lost somewhere. Then we see the old man laying Eris down behind the couch, which was right behind Richard, but he couldn't see her. Richard then started crying, saying that I love my wife very much and her condition is very bad, which is why I'm worried about it. If she does not reach me in time and her body remains in a state of paralysis, she may die. The old man believed him, and he says, "Well, I want to tell you something." And before he could say anything, then Richard's phone starts ringing. Seeing this, the old man becomes suspicious of him, because he said that he lost his phone. Now the old man tells him that I will call the police. They can help you. And as the old man stands to call, Richard attacks her. That caused the phone to fall down. The man was old but also powerful. He easily overpowers Richard and beats him well. Now Richard has a knife in his hand, which he stabs at the old man's feet, after which Richard stabs her in the stomach as well, which kills her. Now Richard goes outside the house and fetches petrol, because he wanted to burn everything down. He sets the whole house on fire and he comes out and sits in his truck and starts the truck. Inside the house, Eris begins to roll up and down the window curtains to get his attention. Richard notices that someone is inside the house moving the curtains up and down. He quickly came inside the house, where he finds Eris once again. He picks it up and takes it out and puts it in his truck, because Eris had to save his life, which is why he has to call Richard. Otherwise, she didn't want him to call the killer back at all. Then Richard got a call, and when he picked up, it was from his daughter, which Eris discovers that he also has a wife and daughter. Her daughter says, "Papa, I am coming to you with Mom." Richard says, "I am not done my work yet, so I want to be alone for some more time." Hearing this, his wife tells him that you are alone. "I will not let you stay alone anymore. We are coming." Here we find his wife and daughter coming to him. Now Richard stops at a petrol pump to get petrol, and leaving Eris inside the truck, he goes into the store to buy some supplies. When Eris is alone in the truck, she tries to unbuckle the seatbelt, but she can't do it. Then a little boy comes to the truck and he remembers his son. She begins to miss the time spent with her son. Then the child's mother comes there and takes him from there. During this, Richard also returns and starts moving forward once again with the truck. He came to his car in the forest because he wanted to fix his car. He leaves Eris in the truck and goes to fix his car. Meanwhile, he took another injection from his car and placed it in the truck to paralyze Eris. He was fixing his car when a police officer came there. As he watches Eris, Richard comes out and starts talking to the police officer. The officer tells him that your vehicle has been reported. Hearing this, Richard says that you must have misunderstood because this car belongs to my friend. Actually, my wife drank too much and crashed the car into a tree. And due to the accident, the car got damaged. And now I have brought a truck from a friend to fix the car and take it from here. The officer asks him, "Can I speak to your wife?" Richard says can't talk to you as he is very unwell. At the same time, Eris was listening to them. Lowers the window slightly, seeing which he goes to talk to Eris. The officer also finds the injection that Richard kept in the truck. But before the officer can do anything, he attacks him, and he beats him so badly that the officer dies on the spot. Richard then puts her body in his car and sets it on fire, and thus he also killed the officer. Now Eris was slowly losing the effect of this injection, and now she was in a position to speak. Now she says to Richard that I know you have a wife and a daughter, and you love so much. There is still time. I promise you that I will not tell anyone about you. You can leave me on the side of the road and go and meet your daughter and wife. Those people are coming to meet you, so you should also go and spend time with them. Actually, she wanted to make him emotional by saying all these things. But he does not listen to her words and brought to the shore of a lake and said that this is our last stop. Now Eris grabs this injection and attacks Richard, but she is unable to press this injection. That is, nothing happened to Richard. Richard then throws the injection away and says that you are a loser. You can't do anything. Eris starts crying and says, "Please let me go. My husband must be looking for me." Richard says, "Never, I am not going to leave you." He dragged Eris to the riverbank and he starts to go in the river by sitting in a boat, because his plan was to kill Eris by drowning him in the river. Eris then notices that Richard has a knife on his back. Then an idea comes to his mind. She cries and says, "I have my son's picture in my back pocket. I want to see it once before I die. Please give me that picture." When Richard bent down to take out the picture, Eris pulls out that knife and attacks him. He stabs her in the throat with a knife, staggering as Richard pulled back. That's when Eris starts shaking the boat. This causes Richard fall into the water and his gun remains in the boat. Earlier, Richard attacked him. Eris grabs the gun and shoots Richard repeatedly, injuring him and falling into the water once again. Eris thought her life was saved, but she was still in trouble, because there was a hole in the boat due to the bullet, from where the water starts entering the boat, and suddenly the whole boat began to sink due to water filling. Eris drowned here on purpose because she knew that after some time her body would surface, and somehow she comes out of the lake. She was very happy to be spared. He could not believe that I had escaped from a murderer. Then he saw that Richard had also come out of the lake and came to the shore, but his condition was very bad due to the bullet wounds. Now Eris could call an ambulance if she wanted to, because he was begging for help, but now it was Eris's turn to take revenge why she would help him. So she walks away, leaving Richard in the pain. With that, the movie ends here. We hope you will like this story. Don't forget to subscribe our channel to watch more such videos.